What is up, guys? How we doing? I had something important that I wanted to talk to you about today. It's gonna have a little bit to do with a personal story, and it's just a huge issue that I see happening in my state that's affecting friends, Uber customers, and something that I think needs attention. So I wanted to talk about this. We're going to switch over to Streamlabs so I can open the browser and discuss Kratom and Tianeptine and this new drug people are calling 708s. Okay, so there is this stuff called Tianeptine. Tianeptine is actually in Europe a drug that is prescribed for depression because in small doses it is shown to help with depression, but in high doses actually binds to your opioid receptors the same way taking a perk does and feels very similarly to taking an opiate-like product. Kratom is kind of under the same vein. It kind of has the same molecule structure. It's not quite as powerful if you get regular Kratom, regular capsules. Let's just say you get powder, this type of Kratom. See, it's all concentrated. Regular Kratom, not very strong, but it's used by a lot of people. If you take it in small doses, it acts as a stimulant like coffee. If you take it in high doses, it does the same thing. Binds to your opioid receptors and can help with pain, is supposed to help with withdrawals, things like that. So a lot of people, if they're trying to get off of like literally heroin, painkillers, whatever, they start taking Kratom because it helps with the withdrawals. And then along came Tianeptine. Something I forget to mention here is Tianeptine kind of tried to market itself as Kratom. Tiana, Pegasus, Zaza has red, green, and white, just like Kratom. So the people that are normally taking Kratom would look at it and think, oh, so this is a different kind. And Tianeptine, look, I'm just going to dive back into my personal life for a second. All right? If you guys have been here for a minute, you know my story. The Road to Sobriety video I recommend you check out. I have been on opiates since I was 8 years old. My mom gave me my first Perk 10 whenever I was literally 8 on a road trip to Memphis. I had no idea what it was. And from then on, I absolutely fell in love with the feeling, and she used to use it as a bribe to get me to go over to her abusive ex's house. That is no joke. And by 14, I was in rehab and a full-blown drug addict. Am I blaming my mom for that? No, I continued to take it, but the point is I was on opiates until 14. Then at 18, I got all my teeth removed because of periodontal disease, and I kept getting dry socket and was dealing with a lot of stresses at home. My mom was spun out. My only stepdad that was ever worth a shit died. My sister got taken away, and I was not in a mentally good place. And then I suddenly got ripped off of Perk 10s, and that sent me down a very dark road for the next 5 years of trying to do anything I can to get a hold of something that had opiate-like effects. And if I started going through withdrawals, I would drink. It was bad. It was a really bad phase. And I discovered poppy seed tea. Started making poppy seed tea, where you find unwashed poppy seeds, shake it up for 15 minutes with a little bit of water, 8 ounces of water, and that actually works. And then found Kratom. Started using Kratom, and it doesn't really necessarily get you... I want to say it doesn't get you buzzed, but it kind of does if taken in large doses, especially if you haven't taken opiates very much. Like if you were to go out, you're watching this, you've never taken before and try it, yes, it would give you a pretty good buzz. For withdrawals, it kind of ceases the withdrawal. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people that were on harder drugs like heroin, painkillers, whatnot, turn to Kratom to deal with withdrawals, or people that used to be prescribed painkillers. You know, I've ran into a lot of older people here in Missouri that used to be prescribed painkillers that got ripped off of them, so they started taking Kratom or Pegasus because it helps with pain. Pegasus, Tiana, Zaza, we'll get there. I started taking Kratom. I got to where it wasn't enough, and then they started coming out with Kratom shots. This bad boy right here, Viva Zen. Now, I can't seem to get a picture that shows you the back of it, but this is actually 5 doses in one, and it's $20 a bottle. And if you take half this, I shit you not, it feels like taking 2 perks. Which is not something that you would expect from a vape shop or a gas station. You know, if you walk in, I'm giving my personal backstory because I know that it's gonna, like, I chose this, okay, is the point that I want to make with my personal backstory. I chose to get into this, okay? But there's a lot of people that will go into a gas station. They will see these Viva Zen shots, feel good relief. You know, like, it says it helps with pain. It says it puts you in a good mood. It makes you feel good, right? And then they take it, and then it's literally like popping 2 perks. And me and a buddy that used to work together that I've been friends with for years got to where we were taking these every day. Well, now regular Kratom is not the powder. This is all substitutes. It comes in powder or capsule form. Regular Kratom wouldn't cut it, so now I always, if I took Kratom, needed to do a Viva Zen shot or take concentrated pills like this, right? And then I discovered Tianeptine. Tianeptine, it's Tiana in the store, right? Judge seeks to ban dietary supplement. And we're going to get into why. Tiana, there's white, red, and green, just like Kratom. There's white, red, and green. White is supposed to be more for energy. Green is more of a mix of white and red is supposed to be more for sleep and pain, right? And then I discovered Tianeptine. I saw this Tiana stuff in the vape store and was like, it's $45 for 15 capsules, and I was like, okay, well, let's give this a try. I have no idea what this is. It comes in other forms called Zaza right here. Here we go. Tiana, Pegasus, Zaza, Devils, they're all the same thing. The Devil's Kratom, they're all the same thing. They have Tianeptine as the main drug. The problem with Tianeptine, and when I started taking Tianeptine, is Tianeptine, not only does it work so good, right? You take one of these, and you are as high as a kite, right? You genuinely have an opiate high. And you don't expect that. Like I said, you just don't expect that. If you're somebody that's just going to the vape store and you look around and you see this and you're like, oh, feel good relief. Okay, I'll try this. I've ran into when doing Uber over the last 5 years, I've ran into about 5-6 different older men that had Pegasus or Tiana in their hand. And have seen so many people hanging out at the gas station popping this stuff. This is the real deal. This feels exactly like taking a handful of perks. Exactly. No, and you don't expect that. You expect a knockoff. Yeah, this isn't going to work, whatever. It might give you a slight buzz. It might keep the withdrawals at bay. No, this feels exactly like it. The problem with Tianeptine, though, that is so scary, and the reason why I am making this video, is Tianeptine has a half-life of 2 hours. So say you take one of these and you get a buzz on, right? It only lasts for an hour. By hour 4, you are already in withdrawal. The other problem with Tiana is the next time you take, say you just took one, you got a buzz, it's hour 4, you're going through withdrawal. You take one, it will not work. You have to take 2. Then you take 2. That does it, but now you're going through withdrawal by 4 hours again. Now you need to take 4. Your tolerance grows to it ridiculously quick, and the withdrawals from this are worse than heroin. I am not joking you. Worse than heroin. And I am talking about this today because this is what led me to getting on Subutex. Because I got absolutely stuck on this. I had been on opiate for 20 years. I had quit pain pills. I had quit Kratom. I had quit a lot of things. But Tiana, I could not stop taking. I couldn't. And it was $45 a bottle. And I got to where I was taking 2 bottles at a time. $90 to avoid going through the horrible withdrawals that put me in a hospital and led to me being on Subutex. Now, I have been on Subutex for 5 years, and I'm proud of that. But my point is now I'm on an even stronger drug, right? And the reason why I'm making this video today is because I talked to a friend earlier this week that hit me up for advice because they were stuck on this. Apparently, in the last 5 years, I haven't gone back to the vape store or shopped for any of this stuff. They came out with this, 708s, which is a stronger form of Kratom that wasn't around 5 years ago. That's trying to compete with Tianeptine, with how strong it is. Once again, $40 for like 4 of these. And so addictive. Not quite as bad as Tiana because it has a longer half-life and not super, like the withdrawals are still very bad. Not on the, like damn near the level of Tiana. And the person that came to me for advice was an ex-girlfriend. My first. And she is not an opiate taker. She just took this one day because her friend suggested it, and she was calling me begging for help because she had no idea how to get off of this, that she was having to drink to deal with her withdrawals and that she could not stop. And I have seen a lot of people in my Uber with Pegasus. I've never even heard of these 7 tabs, but Tiana, these hardcore Kratom extracts. This is very addictive stuff. When I say Tianeptine is more addictive than heroin, I mean it. I mean it. I am talking about this as someone who's done it and as somebody who has been on it for 20 years. Okay? Not heroin, but opiates. Nothing has ever made me lose control and get as sick as this stuff right here, and it is available in a vape store, in a gas station, anywhere. And it's getting so bad that I'm giving people Uber rides and I'll see them pop this. And I've had to break my professionality in the store, in the middle of giving this person a ride and say, hey, like anytime I see anybody taking this, I get so scared for them immediately because I just think, oh my God, like I told several customers, you need to be careful with that. You need to take one and one only. If you're taking it for pain, because that's what the customer told me, is that he was taking it for pain and that it really helped. And I told him, look, you need to take, if you're going to take it for pain, I understand that it helps. But I would seek other options if you could. And if you're going to take this, never take more than one and never take it more than once a week. I am so serious right now. Never, ever take this and get addicted to this, because this is literally gas station heroin. And it's so disgusting to me that this is even allowed to be sold. As I said, look, I don't care what your opinion on addiction is. I went to rehab. People call addiction a disease, not because to get out of responsibility, but because that's literally in the big book, the Alcoholics Anonymous book. It's called a disease because everybody is susceptible to being addicted to something. Chances are, if you're watching, there's probably something you're addicted to right now. I'm still addicted to coffee. I'm addicted to Subutex. I'm addicted to nicotine. Everybody is addicted to something. Sex, food, video games, TV, hentai, whatever it may be. Everybody's addicted to something. Gambling. That's becoming a huge problem. For some reason, it's really acceptable for it to be alcohol when withdrawals from alcohol, if you get deep enough, can kill you. But this stuff right here needs to be talked about because this is an emergency that's causing an epidemic in my town, it's a problem, man. It's so much more than just, well, you're choosing to take it, so it's on you. You can be somebody that has never taken drugs in your life before. Hang out with a buddy. You're going into a vape store, right? You see this stuff. Oh, I wonder what this is. And you just try it. You just try it one time. It has you. Because the withdrawals from it are so fucking bad. And the half-life is so short. And the tolerance grows so quick that and it's so expensive, $45 for 15 tablets, that I can't put into words how addictive this is and how awful the withdrawals are from it and how it is literally just available at your gas station, at your vape store. And the last time I went and I got vape juice, it was the first time I had gone into that vape store in 5 years since I got Tianeptine. Tiana. That's what they had, is Tiana, not Pegasus or Zaza. Tiana is what I took. And I asked them, do you have any idea what this is? And they said no. And look, it's some 20-year-old selling it, right? He's not going to care. But I just told him, this is very dangerous. And, you need to let people know, if they buy this, that this is a very addictive thing. And to never take more than one. Yes, in tiny words on the back of the bottle, it says, do not take more than recommended. To get them out of it, What I need you to understand, though, is that even though it says on the bottle, do not take more than one, right? In Europe, it is prescribed in 12 milligram doses. And one pill contains 700 milligrams. Now, it says it's 3 different ingredients in a propriety blend that adds up to 700 milligrams, but you and I both know that it's probably 500 milligrams of Tianeptine, 100 of the other, 100 of the other. Hell, it may be 600. My point is they say don't take more than one and act like one is a reasonable dose. But one has more than 10 times the recommended amount that it's prescribed in Europe. Not to mention that it's marketed as a dietary supplement, trying to act like it's basically a Kratom knockoff, that this is just no biggie, that it's the way it is marketed, man. It's gross. But these assholes know what they're doing. This shit is $45, and it literally is a 1-for-1 high. That's what blows my mind, is that you take it and you're like, yeah, this is just from a gas station. This is just from a vape store. It is a 1-for-1 high. Exactly the same. Except shorter half-life, worse withdrawal, and your tolerance grows faster. And they're doing nothing to stop selling it. In fact, they have now evolved Kratom to be just as hardcore as Tianeptine, because Tianeptine was starting to take from Kratom cells quite a bit. Now let's read this. New gas station heroin Tianeptine product trend. Dear colleagues, I am writing to draw your attention to a dangerous and growing health trend facing our nation, and particularly young people. The increasing number of adverse events. Would you stop bouncing, dude? Bye. Sorry. The increasing number of adverse events involving products containing tianeptine, which can lead to serious harm, including death. Tianeptine, which is often called gas station heroin because of its availability in gas station stores, is not approved by the FDA for any use. I am very concerned. I want the public to be especially aware of this dangerous product and the serious and continuing risk it poses to America's youth. While the FDA is closely following the distribution and sale of these products, it is critical that you appreciate the magnitude of the underlying danger of these products and the disseminate information about it. Historically, there have been delayed recognition of fast-growing trends such as opiate abuse, vaping addiction in youth. Let's be proactive in understanding and addressing the use of tianeptine products, which are available even to our nation's youth. Now, I want you to understand that tianeptine, as I said, is a drug in Europe prescribed in low doses to help people. You can get tianeptine powder in low doses, a very, very effective medicine at treating depression. But that's why. Because it's binding to your fucking opioid receptors. There are people that defend this, and I'm sorry, brother, but yes, of course this is going to help your depression. It's making you feel good. And even if you're on such a low dose that it doesn't mentally get you high, your body does. This absolutely fries your serotonin receptors, as all opiates do. And if you think it's such a good antidepressant, well, try quitting it tomorrow. Because just like any other opiate, dude, it takes 2 years for your brain to get back to normal when you abuse opiates. People don't understand that opiates, meth, all these different drugs, opiates, man, they absolutely fry your serotonin receptors. They do. And even if when you're going through physical withdrawal, you think you're dying. Your brain tells you you're dying. That's real shit. So, what do? If you think you're dying, if you manage to get through the physical withdrawal side of it, mentally, your brain takes 2 years to start developing normally. Your serotonin receptors are fried and you go through a period of depression. If you have ever pulled a muscle and you've never touched hydros or oxys before and you've been prescribed them for a week, when you got done taking them, you probably didn't have any horrible physical withdrawals, but I bet you the next day you felt foggy and really depressed. Now, if you only took it for a week, that'll only last a day or two. But if you've been taking it for years, that lasts years. The reason why this is so scary is because people don't understand what they're taking before they take it. Then they do, and next thing you know, they're addicted and can't get off of it. This is a serious fucking problem. In some countries, tianeptine is licensed and marketed as an atypical antidepressant. It is believed to act via glutamate modulation and is a full mu and weak delta opioid receptor agonist. In countries where it's an approved drug, the typical label dose to treat depression is 12.5 milligrams orally 3 times a day. Higher doses can produce euphoria, and some countries have restricted how tianeptine is prescribed and dispensed or revised the drug label to warn of its possible addiction. Or revised the drug label to warn of its possible addiction. Sounds like we got another fucking Sackler Oxycontin case on our hands. Have you ever seen Dope Sick? That show makes me fucking cry, man. 12.5 milligrams 3 times a day. Let's look at how much is in one pill here. Proprietary blend. 700 milligrams. And unfortunately, it gives you the 3 ingredients, right? The quadrangular leaf, tianeptine, pipermethysm, whatever. It's in the hundreds. You're not supposed, even one pill, even if you take it as directed on the bottle, because on the bottle it says, only take one. Even if you only take one, you're still taking a larger than recommended dose of tianeptine. I do not understand how this is legal. And it's really starting to affect not only my neighbors down here in southern Missouri, but my friends that have never touched opiates before. And it is what led me to getting on Subutex. Now, had I never ran into... I needed to get on Subutex anyway. The only reason I'm including my personal story in this is to let you know, like, what opiate, like, literally that for years, to avoid the mental withdrawals of it, not even just the physical, that you'll do anything in your power to try to put it off. Poppy seed tea, kratom, tianeptine. And to explain to you that somebody that's been on opiate for 20 years got fucked by this. Like, yeah, I chose to take it. I was over here doing anything to avoid withdrawal. But even as somebody that, like, has a high tolerance, has been taking this for 20 years, got my ass kicked by this stuff. So imagine never being on them at all and taking this. Luckily, I am where I am now, you know? And that was the only advice I could give my friend, is she told me that she had been on it since May, and I just cried for her, man, because, like, because I can't tell her anything other than, you're fucked. Like, you're not going to beat this. There isn't. To people that don't understand, you don't understand. And you can say, well, you chose it. That's a really easy cop-out. But this drug is something that people don't understand what it is. You don't go into a gas station and see fucking knockoff Adderall and think that it's going to actually hit you like Adderall, and it doesn't. Just like this, you know, and then all it takes is one pill, and you are hooked. You are hooked, man. And how expensive it is. I can't get over that enough. There's some people out there taking 2 bottles at a time, $90 for a high that lasts 2 hours, and you're in full-blown withdrawal again by hour 4 before the end of your work shift. In the U.S., tianeptine is not currently scheduled under the Controlled Substances Act. In addition, tianeptine is not approved by the FDA for any medical use. It is not generally recognized as safe for use in food and does not meet the statutory definition of a dietary ingredient, because that's what they market it as, a dietary supplement. Nevertheless, tianeptine is being marketed as a research chemical, a nootropic, cognitive enhancer, or a dietary supplement. Tianeptine is frequently available at convenience stores, gas stations, vape shops, and online retailers. Product names include, for example, Tiana, Zaza, Neptune's Fix, Pegasus, and TD Red. Tianeptine has also been referred to as gas station heroin. Case reports in the medical literature describe U.S. consumers ingesting daily doses on the order of 1.3 to 250 times the daily tianeptine dose, typically recommended and labeled for in drug products. 10,000 milligrams a day some people are taking. And if you're taking 10,000 milligrams of tianeptine, it's lasting 2 hours. And I want you to understand how much that costs. That's like... fucking A, that makes me so sad. The problem is that it's not being taken seriously about what this is. You look at it in the store, it's just a dietary supplement. Reported adverse events from ingesting tianeptine include the following: agitation, coma, confusion, death, drowsiness, hypertension, nausea, respiratory depression, sweating, tachycardia, vomiting. Tianeptine may also not... Look, when I took it, I got the restless leg syndrome, the night sweats from the hot, you're puking. I can't explain how awful it is to you. I really can't. I really can't explain how awful the withdrawals to this. But the fact that 708 Kratom is now a thing too tells me that not only do they not intend on stopping this because they're making so much money off of it, but they just plan on making it more addictive. We literally have legal heroin right now. The withdrawal that I experienced from heroin was overshadowed by the withdrawal from this poison, wrote one person who became addicted to Tianeptine. Alright, Tianeptine first appeared on the scene in the mid-2010s. Regulators were cracking down on opioids like oxycodone and fentanyl. People addicted to those drugs were seeking alternatives, including heroin. Some found an over-the-counter supplement called Tiana, or Tianeptine. People who have used the drug say that it creates a euphoria like opioids and heroin, but that a person's tolerance to Tianeptine jumps quickly. That is the worst part of it. That it could make it, because literally, immediately it grows. You take one, it works for you, it keeps the withdrawals at bay. One will not work anymore. Now you have to take two, unless you take it once a week. We're using the word drug, even though Tianeptine is being sold as a supplement, but no one in the industry doubts Tianeptine is a drug. Selling it as a supplement is illegal, but Tianeptine is widely available online even now. Numerous studies have found Tianeptine is a hazard to the public health and may be a risk for abuse, overdose. I want you to understand that, there's going to be two types of people that watch this video. There's going to be the type that go, wow, well, you junkies are just looking for anything to get you off, so you deserve it. But I'm concerned about the people that are like my ex-girlfriend that hit me up this week, that have never taken opiates before in their life, that just went to a vape store, tried this, and have been hooked for 6 months. The passenger who is in his 60s in my car that I'm giving a ride, who breaks out a bottle of this stuff and can't go without it. That is who I'm worried about. That just think, oh, well, this stuff says it helps with pain. This could help me. And then, bam. And this is just Tianeptine. So this is the new 708, the Kratom brand. I wanted to talk about this too real quick. Tianeptine is really scary. This I don't have experience with. I can only speak on the Tianeptine. But what my ex was addicted to was this and Tianeptine. So the U.S. Food and Drug Administration today is taking a bold step to protect Americans from dangerous illegal opioids by recommending a scheduling action to control certain 7-hydroxy... It's also known as 7-O. People are calling it hydroxy. Products under the Controlled Substances Act. The FDA is specifically targeting 7-O, a concentrated byproduct of the kratom plant. It is not focused on natural kratom leaf products. 7-O is increasingly recognized as having potential for abuse because of its ability to bind to opioid receptors. The FDA is releasing a new report to educate the public on how health concerns with 7-O and its distinctions from the kratom plant leaf. That's the hard thing about talking about this subject, because kratom it is addictive. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's something you need to do, but I will say that it is a better alternative to heroin. Yeah, kratom isn't nearly as strong. It doesn't get you nearly as high. But Tianeptine and 7-O, what they're talking about here, the Viva Zen shot I showed you, those, where they're starting to mess with the molecule structure, the chemical structure of it, those are designed to be not only a one-for-one for the high, but hard as hell to get off of. Vape stores are popping up in every neighborhood in America, and many are selling addictive products like concentrated 7-O. After the last wave of the opioid epidemic, we cannot get caught flat-footed again. 7-O is an opioid that can be more potent than morphine. Okay? More potent than morphine. We need a regulation and public education to prevent another wave of the opioid epidemic. more potent than morphine. The availability of 7.0 products is a major concern to the FDA as consumers can easily purchase the product and it's just as expensive. These products may not be clearly or accurately labeled as to their 7.0 content and are sometimes disguised or marketed as Kratom. So this is not Kratom. I'm going to title the video Kratom because I do think Kratom concentrates like these Viva Zen shots that I showed you are a problem. But these 708 specifically are trying to act like they're Kratom extract, and it's not. Now, it says on here pure extract tablet, so yeah. See, more potent than 2 average Kratom shots. They're trying to make it sound like this is Kratom, and it's not. It's basically just as addictive as Tianeptine. So people that take Kratom that are actually doing okay because Kratom isn't that hardcore are saying, oh, okay, so this is better. Instead of having to take that disgusting powder, I could just take one of these. Because yes, the Kratom dose is kind of ridiculous. Like, if you get it in pill form, a regular dose is like, what, 5 milligrams? That's 10 pills. So if you don't want to take 10 pills, yeah, like, it just, my heart breaks for anybody out there that touches this stuff today that doesn't know what it is. Because this will have you... you have to do something about this, America. My point, guys, is this isn't a joke. This isn't, oh my God, you junkies did it to yourself. This is something that you find at a gas station. Something that you find at a vape store. Marketed as a dietary supplement that's a little pick-me-up. That is more addictive than heroin. That has worse withdrawals than heroin. That is horrible. That you take one of and your tolerance grows so fast and it has such a short half-life that it makes for the perfect combination of not only being so addictive and your tolerance growing so fast that you can just within a week be out of control. Going through withdrawals that are putting you in a hospital bed. And my heart breaks for anybody out there that doesn't know what this is. And I feel like as somebody that is seeing it take my town by storm because it's available literally at every gas station, every vape store. There's so many different Kratom shops here. Like, I don't know if I am gonna title it Kratom. This isn't Kratom. Alright? 708s are not Kratom. It's trying to make it out to be like it is, but I do still feel like Kratom is worth talking about, even though the withdrawals aren't, like, it's not nearly as addictive and horrible as Tiana, but yeah, if you take a bunch of Viva Zen shots, it is quite addictive. Like, so I do feel it's worth talking about. Because these are $45 a pop too, just like Tianeptine, I'm wondering if these are even worse. And this is something that needs to be dealt with. It absolutely is, because this is affecting people that don't even know what the fuck it is. This right here is fucking $50. Morphine, more powerful than morphine, and it's at your gas station. And you can blame people all day long, but whenever it's marketing itself as a dietary supplement, advanced Kratom alkaloids, when really it has nothing to do with Kratom. They just changed its molecule makeup to be more potent, more addictive. And it's $45. Like, this is affecting teenagers. It is ruining lives, and it's fucking... Then, ironically, you end up like me on Subutex, giving Uncle Sam all the money in the world to treat you for a fucking thing he caused. Before I leave you today, though, I want to hit you with the ultimate power move. I have a bottle. I have had this bottle of Tiana for 5 years. ever since I've gotten sober. Tiana does not mess with Subutex. I could take this and get high if I wanted to. I literally have the power any day to. And I look at this as a reminder as to what I become and just how disgusting this is. $45 for this bottle, 15 capsules, papaya tree blend, 531 milligrams, it says. Take 1 capsule every 6 hours, is what it says. I choose to be sober. But my heart breaks for anybody that sees this and is like, oh, what's that? Natural products? It has natural products on the bottom here. If you made it to this point in the video, please stay the fuck away from this. Please. I love you. Stay strong out there.